3, 2, 1, action!
Hi, my name is Victoria Woelders, and I run mykidslocker.com. I've been doing that for now 5 years, and I have thoroughly enjoyed doing that website. It was originally focused on apps and digital resources, but now it's changed more towards personal blogging and talking about teaching and kids and parenting and life and virtues. So it's kind of morphed over the last 5 years. But like I said, my name is Victoria Woelders, and I am a teacher from Canada, from Langley, BC, and I teach grade 4. I've been doing that for, wow, I can't believe it, probably 18, 19 years now. And I have 2 lovely children and an amazing husband who actually is a teacher as well. And so my website has always been focused mostly on educational products or about the focus on school and students. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of morphed more into talking about my family. So this is the beginning of my first podcast, I guess you could say. It is kind of an introduction to what I'm going to be journeying in through, I guess, in the next many years. This is my attempt to kind of share what's going on in my life, but also this first part is more to do with storytelling. I have always been a mom who likes telling stories, and over the last couple of years, I've gotten into storytelling before the kids go to bed. Now, when I was younger, my mom was a teacher, and she always used to tell my twin sister and I stories, but she never recorded them. So this is kind of my opportunity to be able to record my stories, tell my kids, and eventually maybe my grandkids or great-grandkids or great-great-grandkids. It's just a legacy I'd like to leave because the stories that my mom told me somehow got lost, and I only remember bits and pieces. So as we start this podcast, I am going to be starting with a series called the Empathy Tales series. It's a focus on empathy, kindness, and care. I guess you could say the slogan is creating compassion one story at a time. These stories can be used in your home with kids going to bed, and they need a sweet story to listen to. They can be used in the classroom. They can just be used for enjoyment. Maybe you love fairy tales. But all these stories that I'm going to share at the beginning of this podcast, these different episodes, all focus on different characters. They could be princesses and princes and kings and queens and trolls and wizards and angels and witches and so many other things, and families and their journeys towards trying to live a life that is kind and compassionate and empathetic. A lot of my stories draw from different books I've read, different podcasts I listen to. I just specifically want to make a shout out to Brené Brown for her work on empathy and shame resilience. I've read many of her books, and I've listened to much of her podcasts and YouTube videos. And so there are some undercurrents of what she has talked about and what she has researched. And so with all that being said, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to listen to this introductory podcast. I hope you enjoy this journey. I think I will. This is a brand new thing for me. I'm jumping into the deep end of creativity and innovation. I have a bunch of stories that I have recorded from the original stories where I'm laying in my bed with my kids, or I'm in their beds telling the stories. And so most of these stories have just been created off the top of my head. And so it's a testimony to kind kind of imperfection, I guess you could say, but it's a really cool journey because it gives me an opportunity to be able to try to put my thoughts on compassion and empathy into 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And perhaps through these stories, you might be able to, think more about empathy and what that means in your life, or perhaps in your kids' lives, or in your students' lives. But whatever the case, I hope that you enjoy my podcast. If you need to contact me, if you have a question, you want to reach out to me, go to mykidslocker.com, and I would love to have a conversation with you. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoy this first part of my podcast, which is the Empathy Tales series, creating compassion one story at a time. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
3, 2,